Well, they really did save the best for last when it comes to this degenerate Pride Month. You know, there has been some victories out there, some unexpected takebacks in the culture war. The Call of Duty stuff was very interesting, to say the least, the continuation of the Bud Light story, but realistically, when it comes to the Pride events themselves, they were as degenerate as everybody expected. And I'm just playing this little clip in the background just as a bit of a palate cleanser, because this is about as good as it's gonna get right there. Just a bunch of good Muslim kids right there doing some very halal activities, showing that flag exactly the type of respect that it does in fact deserve, because this whole Pride Month, it's not just simply a North American thing. This is all around the world, baby. This is down here in France. Now we know that the French love to party. They do, in fact, love to protest as well. Hell, over the last couple of years, there were those yellow vest protests that were all about, they're trying to take away our pensions. We better go down and start breaking everywhere, and stealing all the wine and cigarettes. Well, give it a couple more years and I'll have to get a little bit more like this in order to do a French accent. But hey, man, if they're willing to go ahead and tear down the banner that Napoleon Bonaparte went and fought so valiantly for, you get exactly what you fucking deserve. God, the French make me sick on a consistent basis. But we talked about this, not this situation, okay? Don't need to have it playing in the background. The French take enough L's to begin with, but talked about another Pride event that happened over the past weekend. But now that all the festivities have seemingly concluded, we can go back and revisit the Toronto Pride Festival, which, if you guys remember, talked about this with the Bud Light video from yesterday, and it's just as degenerate as everybody remembers, but we're not going to focus on this. Just needed to introduce it a little bit, because there are some equally degenerate things that were going down there in the daylight as well, having kids walk past naked men, and I wish that was the last time that I had to say that during this video, but no, these are the people, come on guys, they just want to love who they love, and they just want to get married, that's all. There's no slippery slope. You would be a bigot, you would be a transphobe, you would be a homophobe if you pointed out that we would end up at this situation not even a decade later. Just shame on you, right? Like, take a look at this. A child is pulled in a cart with the sign, "First Transition Related Surgery Program" during Toronto Pride event. The child appears to be below the age of 5, but definitely is signed up for a surgery and a life of subsistence on Big Pharma, because their mother's purse puppy died because they just wanted the attention. They didn't realize how difficult it would be to, look after another living human being, because that's all these are. It's just little pieces of attention. It's Munchausen by proxy, right? You put your kid through a lifetime of hell in order to make you look good to your friends or people online. It really doesn't much matter when you're one of these narcissistic, solipsistic women. Attention is attention, regardless of where it comes from. And hey, whenever there's something, bad that ends up happening to your little experiment, sorry, child, then you can get the attention on top of that. It's such a wonderful cycle, and at least it'll take up about a decade and a half of your time. It's sick, it's disgusting, but you know exactly what it is. Come on. But we're not quite done with the Toronto Pride Festival, because look at this. Take a look at this. A K-12 school in Canada has asked Pride Festival attendees at Toronto Pride. So this is set up by Linden Schools. I wonder if that's the same school board where you had Kayla Lemieux, the trans woodshop teacher with the big old fake cans. But they're asking, and I have no idea who's back there. Obviously, you got some well-intentioned people that are back there asking a question with a little popsicle sticks. Should sex ed start in kindergarten? All right, and taking a closer look right there. Apparently, according to the attendees of the Toronto Pride Parade, the earlier the better, right? Fucking disgusting. Like, legitimately, when they said they were coming for your kids, they said, oh no, that's just a joke. That was the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir back in 2020. I think those videos ended up getting released. No, that's just a joke. Come on. It's not like we'd come out and say that 3 years later. More to come on that. And speaking of which, at the Seattle Pride event, I can't play this video. I can't play it because I've seen way too much old man junk, okay? Legitimately. So I paused the screen right there. Hopefully getting everything blurred out appropriately. That looks fine. Like, that's, I don't know if that's a bodysuit by the guy who's wearing the AIDS quilt. But yeah, man, can confirm there's a whole bunch of junk in there. And there are kids definitely in attendance. Earlier in the video, which you can suss it out yourself. If you want to find it, fucking do your worst. The beginning of the video shows a grown-ass man with his shriveled-ass package handing out candy to a kid. This is fucking sick. There's no excuse for any of this shit. And then moving from Seattle to its sister in Minneapolis, because, come on, they all share very similar policies. Minneapolis Mayor Frey, who oversaw the catastrophic, deadly political violence in his state by BLM Antifa in 2020, featured in the Minneapolis Pride event. Oh, see, yeah, he's a nice, fit guy. Oh my God, it's good that the Democrats have one of those, at least the one that they'll acknowledge. You know, you don't want to take a look at RFK being jacked out of his gills in his later 60s. But no. See, we got one. He's just going to be a nice guy. He's going to run around with, I don't know, just the human exclamation point over his head. Like, the fuck? A staffer runs around following him. A sign that reminds people, Mayor Jacob Frey. You think that somebody who's been around for as long as he has would at least be a face that's at least recognizable, that didn't require pointing out, but not exactly a great turnout in that section. But unfortunately, we got more pictures and more videos from what's going down in Minneapolis, at least in the, I don't know, a better attended portion right there. Like, you see a bunch of different flags. Like, you know, the one that kind of looks like shitty ice cream in the background, okay? You can recognize that one, but there's the kids that are down there having to be subjected to all of these, I don't know, fucking disabled weirdos. Well, yeah, you could kind of tell with the fucking puppy mask on, but carrying, I don't know what that flag is. Nobody knows what that fucking flag is, okay? You could see there's a bunch of other ones. This is the North Star Kennel Club. It has nothing to do with, like, the SPCA, and I don't know what that one is. Does that guy like golden showers? No fucking idea. There's one with the, is that for furries? It's all just so fucking gross. And why are the stripes curved? Is that because it goes to the left for you? In front of kids, man. And just... fuck it. Why? Okay. If you ever needed points driven home harder, there you go. Unfortunately, you're going to be subjected to that for a second. But a man in underwear showing his bulge. Yeah. Okay. Oh my God. Twerks in front of a group of young children at Minneapolis Pride earlier today. Yeah. And there's way too many single mothers right there, just holding their kids, hoping that they can get extra food stamps in order to, I don't know, teach, indoctrinate, try to find a stepdad. I have no fucking idea why anybody would... Why is that legal? Like, I'm running out of disclaimers when it comes to that stuff. But what probably takes the cake, okay? Like, all of this is pretty fucking bad, but the worst of the worst definitely ended up happening. And there's no way that I could even find a video where we could find an ample pause screen for what was going on in New York City. Like, it was impossible, right? Because after this march, it was a part of the larger Dyke March, or whatever the fuck they want to call it. Their words, not mine. I've got much more colorful words than that, okay? Like, even though it's a slur, but at the same time, come on, we can find better ones than that. U-Haul Enthusiast March, like, come on, that's far more fun. Flannel shirts all year long, not just one singular month. But they were down there, topless, nearly bottomless, you know, traipsing through a fountain. And again, those are videos that you can find and play to your heart's content, but I've seen better tits in a movie Bob blooper reel than I seen in that fountain right there. Terrible. But this is all just about expression and validation, right? From sea to shining sea, all across the world. Drag marchers spark outrage with "We're coming for your children" chant at New York City Pride event. Because of course, man, we've already known this was going to be the case. Now they just ended up driving it home. Gay activists participating in New York City's annual drag march on Friday sparked outrage for chanting "We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children." Doesn't quite roll off the tongue the exact same way. Pause. The old "we're here, we're queer, get used to it" way that all that started, you know, it's a little clunkier, but at least they're more overt about their intentions this time around. And that would be helpful if anybody wanted to do anything about that. But also at the same time, you have the Republicans out there just going, well, actually, the real transphobes are the Democrats. Fucking pathetic party. The marchers, many wearing flamboyant dresses and clothing, walked through Thompson Square Park in East Village Friday night as part of the city's Pride Month celebrations. Videos of the march show people laughing and joining in with the cheeky chant, including one dancing topless woman. Again, another reason I can't play any of these clips, nor would I really want. They're not tits worthy of checking out anyways, okay? I do that so you don't have to. Others can be heard chanting, we're here, we're queer, we're not going shopping. Yeah, no, everything's free in New York City now at this point in time. Well, basically, nobody ends up prosecuting shoplifting. So, yeah, what is it even? If you're not shopping anymore, or you just can't even call it stealing, it's, I don't know, get it while the places are still open, like, or whatever. The festive marchers ended their march at the iconic Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village. It's so nice, okay? You get these write-ups, the likes of Patrick Riley. I was expecting another author that does a lot of this stuff in New York Post, but that's whatever. But the way that they, bring this up, oh, it's just a cheeky chant. Don't worry, guys, there's nothing behind that. Don't take a look at the events in Toronto or Minneapolis or Seattle, or I'm sure that there's other ones from Chicago, or pick your large blue city, however you want them. It's just all a quinky of a goddamn dink that everybody in that community decides to just say the exact same stuff. Listen, man, it's not everybody under that rainbow who ends up being a plusophile, which I kind of figured out what the plus ends up meaning at the end of that whenever you see that in the little acronym that's out there. If you know, you know, and if you don't, I just coined a new term. You use that to your heart's content. But we know that's exactly where it all ends up. Are they going to be more overt about it this time next year for the Pride Month during right in the middle of an election season? Oh, you fucking well better believe they will. They're going to get more brazen. There's going to be more quote-unquote diversity representation. Oh, it's going to be fucking wild. Well, let's see what else they were doing down there in New York City. Controversial chant incensed conservatives. Well, I'll actually take that. Okay, because if you want to make child safety a right-left issue, and you want to put the people standing up for the children on the right side, yeah, no, that's fine. I'll take that. That we can work with that. You fucking creeps who condemn the marches as videos spread on social media. The movement grooms minors to have mastectomies and castration and fuels a multi-billion-dollar medical child abuse industry, MTG said. Okay, great, fantastic. Don't describe what they do. They know all too well what they're doing. They just call it gender-affirming care. Just call them exactly what they are. Stop falling into their frame. Call them out for exactly what they are. Plusophiles. Pass the Protect Children Innocence Act. Let kids be kids, the conservative firebrand added. Oh my god, it's always a fucking election campaign with her. I can't take her serious. Referencing the bill in Congress that would make it a felony to perform any gender-affirming care on a minor. Gender-affirming care. And stop using that language. It's butchery. You're causing irreparable damage to a child who's not old enough to consent to anything else. It's not affirming, it's abusing. Stop using their language. Okay, honestly, for any parents that are out there watching this video right now, take a look at that screenshot. Take a look at this picture. Take a look at this, okay? I'm going to go ahead and blow it up. Something that, many people are also thinking about that entire street in general. But just pan the crowd there for a second. Is there anybody in attendance right there that you would knowingly and willingly leave your child with? I will say that. Posit that question right there. Do you think any of those people have the best intentions for your children in mind, or do they only have their own agenda to push? Attorney Jenna Ellis, who has become just one of the most insufferable simps, who briefly was a member of the former President Donald Trump's legal team. Yeah, she did a lot for her own name recognition, but not a lot for the president. Fucking yuck. Remember that thing they said they totally are not doing. Oh, very prescient point. This is what evil looks like, said conservative podcaster Graham Allen. Yeah, Lucifer always shows up with a smile. Many online users pointed out the chant is more likely a joke. Shut the fuck up. When they tell you who you are, or who they are, listen. That's what they're doing right here. They've done it over and over again. The same way that they pushed gender-affirming care. The same way that they backdoored it in, by saying that we just want to love who we love. You need to affirm us. Now trying to make themselves a special subjugated community in order to get preferential treatment. Fucking stop it. You guys were dumb enough to capitulate to it in 2015, when all this shit passed through the Supreme Court, which was a huge overstep by that activist court, stop playing by their rules. All I've got to say, because they don't have any standards, they will use whatever tactics are available to them. Do not capitulate. Many online users, yes, pointed out that the chat was more than likely a joke in response to accusations of pedophilia among the drag community from the right. Well, how were they wrong? Again, just go back to that, creep that was in Minneapolis in his tighty whities, basically with his balls hanging out. That was a stripper in a G-string shaking ass like that. Would you think that that's appropriate for children? No, of course not. There's an age limitation for strip clubs for a fucking reason. But no, all of a sudden it's fine when you have some 50-year-old with a mental illness. You cheer that on and say that that's stunning and brave. No, I don't buy it. It's all a cover. It's all a cope. Stop going along with it. The intention is to provoke, said one user who disagreed. Sadly, this will continue to determine the view of the gay community who fought so hard to be accepted. This is not accepted. Yeah, again, your fucking problem. It's the exact same attack and stance that I take when it comes to feminists and those very strong and empowered trans women athletes that are out there. You guys wanted all that shit. You wanted all the equality. You wanted all the equity. And now you're getting exactly what you fucking voted for. The alphabet community can do exactly the same thing. Go through your own little civil war. You want to take the, I'm a part of the LGB, but I'm not a part of the TQ+. Sucks to suck. You signed up for membership over there. You invited all of those sycophants in through the front door, and now you're wondering, well, what happened? What happened? Your problem. So if you don't want your group, your movement to be colored by a few bad actors, understand that these tactics aren't new. Just about every single group now in the 21st century has been subverted. If you weren't smart enough to realize that gatekeeping works, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. Fucking live your life. Don't sign up to be a part of any of these weirdo facades. I know gays. I know lesbians. Totally fine. Great people that just live their fucking life. They don't show out to any of these goofy ass events in order to shake their tits in the name of equity. Fucking gross. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.